Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. I am Elliot, and we are excited that it is now finally 2025. So we have a lot of topics to get into today. One of those being some of the hottest markets across the U.S., and it's predicted that 2025 is going to be a killer year and stellar year. However, it started off a little gloomy due to some of the rates and things that are going on. But before we kick it off and dive into those particular housing markets, what else we got to kick us off?
Well, my kids used to watch the Five Nights at Freddy's thing where it would like jump scare you when Freddy would pop. And I think that is exactly what Jerome Powell did at last Federal Reserve meeting last month, kind of spooked the rates. And we've seen rates in the sevens.
It is spooky, Freddy. That was like my childhood afraid guy, Freddy Krueger.
Well, this was like the bear, like Freddy the
okay.
bear thing that you would just like watch it, and then it was just like, yeah, it was. I don't know why they enjoyed that.
I thought you were talking about Freddy Krueger too.
No,
I immediately went to like fear.
No, am I the only one that knows this? But
Five Nights at Freddy.
Yeah.
It was a movie too, right?
I don't know. But anyway, I think that's the equivalent of what Jerome Powell did to the housing market and to interest rates.
I immediately went to like Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, me too.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Yeah, so the market, so we were all optimistic. And I'm still optimistic.
Absolutely.
I just think that we are off to a bit of a rough start, right? Keith, what are you seeing on your end with our buyers, acquisitions, that sort of thing? Any change, any palpable change in the past couple weeks?
Well, prior to the holiday season, I mean, things were pretty good uproar, so to speak. There was a massive end-of-year push for sellers that were interested in closing on their property before the New Year's, and buyers as well. Of course, it slowed down a little bit over the holiday season in regards to contracts received. But in regards to just more intimate internal, so to speak, December was one of the largest months we've had ever. So even with the marketplace being kind of where it is, and that Five Nights at Freddy horror that we got for the interest rates, it still seems like there's still a lot of action out there.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Let's talk about Jason's shirt for a minute.
I know.
Just to have a moment for your shirt.
Your shirt game has been on point.
Anything you want to say?
For months on end now.
No? What should I say?
It speaks for itself.
Well, hey, for how about? So first of all, not everybody that is watching this and can see his shirt. So his shirt, for podcast listeners, is "Inflation is Taxation." Right. And that catches my eye because, definitely near and dear to my heart. I mean, you guys are the ones that massively turned me on to it years ago. But then I dove into a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island, which is a very long book, but it absolutely dissects things over a very long duration of time that has factual information. And it's scary. And summing it up is inflation is taxation.
Oh no, you're just getting richer with your house, right? Or what was someone used to say, I always wanted $1 million house. I just didn't know it was the one I was in.
Right. And wait long enough.
I just didn't know it was going to be the one I was living in. Yeah.
No doubt we're all feeling the effects of inflation for sure. And but good shirt. And I know we talk a lot about real estate. We lately have been talking a lot about crypto, Bitcoin, altcoins, other things too. And I think it's important we talk more about it because as I look back on like the past 18 to 24 months, like I wish we'd been more vocal earlier on. And I know that over the past 12 months, we've been getting a little bit more vocal, but I know that's one of the ways we got into it was listening to other people and them sharing their beliefs and what they're doing as far as investment strategies. And I wish that we'd done that more.
I wish I'd have listened sooner. Right. I mean, I know we said this, I think just on the last podcast when it was the best time to plant a tree, 20 years ago, and it's the next best time today. Right. And I think that's exactly where it starts on. I mean, I know there's lots of people that, whether it be, Raul Paul, or Michael Saylor, whomever you're plugging into, they still talk about how early It really is, right? And even though we've been through, already a solid bull, piece of the bull run that happened around, election day, but now we've kind of, been in like a bull flag, right? Like, kind of type area where there's been a lot of just lateral parallel type movement. But I think it's an interesting time, and I think this upcoming month we'll see, and it may take a little bit of time to hit. So
okay, let's have a little crypto moment. What are you guys hottest on right now?
I've really been plugging in more and more. I actually, without going off on a massive tangent, I bought XRP without even like really knowing what it was, just because there was so much buzz around it, and I kind of like literally dabbled in it, a small amount, and bought it at like 85 cents, and then did like a massive run and sold it, and I was like, crap, I shouldn't have done that, because then I started like learning about it and like literally like Ripple becoming potentially like a bank, and like there's a lot of like theories around those types of things because the problem that it solves, right? Like that world currency exchange at an exponential speed for a very low fee, right? So I don't want to steal all the air on it, so that's for me. That's
Keith. What are you hot on right now?
That's intriguing because you and I haven't had any conversations about this. I mean, there's lots of things, but if I were just to plug it down for one, just for the sake of the conversation, XRP, I'm probably, as far as like just the king tier one coin, so to speak, because it's XRP is going to shock the world on what it brings to the marketplace in the future. There's a lot of foreign countries that are now going to adopt their technology within their eco/banking system. Mm-hmm. Japan and other that's where this massive surge came very recently, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. And I follow a lot of people that are XRP maxis, so to speak, and it should be a massive year for it in 2025. Of course, Bitcoin's the OG, so goes Bitcoin, so goes the marketplace overall. But as far as from an X perspective in 2025, I think XRP is going to have a bigger X than Bitcoin.
How about you, Jay?
Anything American. I think the incoming president is saying that he wants crypto to be America. So anything that's in America. So I guess that's XRP, right?
And Bitcoin.
Well, U.S. is currently the third largest holder of Bitcoin.
SUI. Are they SUI?
Yeah, SUI.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like owners. I mean, Bitcoin is completely decentralized. So, but the Ripple owner is American. SUI is a bunch of Meta guys. Some of the other ones. Solana is American.
Oh yeah.
So
I think Solana is another one that a lot of theories. Raul Paul he theorizes that it will turn into like basically a bank, and being able to custody it, and then B of A, Wells Fargo are going to follow suit, and that will happen within 5 years is what his prediction is.
Well, interesting stuff. So a little crypto moment for you. I'm with Jay. I'm really digging SUI. I think that the developers behind it carry a lot of clout, and they've done some really cool things. And I think that there's a ton of movement in it. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting too to see how this plays out a year from now, right?
Yeah, and XRP right now, give or take, is like $2 and between
35,
$2.40 to 2.50 cents right now. So I got more of it when it dipped back down to $1.90. So I was thinking right before the New Year's.
Eat the dip.
Yeah.
Eat the dip.
Love it. All right. Well, the number one predicted hottest housing market for 2025, according to Zillow, we're going to share with you in just a moment. But Zillow has made their predictions. They have their top 10 housing markets for 2025. And number one kind of surprises me. Number 10 is Salt Lake City, Utah. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Number 9, Richmond, Virginia. Number 8, Kansas City, Missouri. Number 7, Charlotte, North Carolina. Then St. Louis, Missouri, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Hartford, Connecticut, Providence, Rhode Island, Indianapolis, Indiana. And then number 1 is Buffalo, New York.
Wow. Almost everything was East Coast.
Yeah.
And all of them were getting slammed by snow and ice right now.
Hey, we're in Arizona. It's not quite sunny right now at the moment, but it is a beautiful day. It is mostly sunshine.
I didn't tell you guys this yet, but I had the second year in a row that this happened to me. I was in Colorado and leaving like a ski area, and I basically left in a blizzard, and it's like such a pain. Like I love it because it's like the coolest and it's like totally like my happy place, but driving out of there, what typically would take like an hour turns into 4, and it's exhausting. And it's scary too, right? Because you have to be absolutely on alert, even though you're driving 35 miles an hour. For me, I got a lot of kids with me, so I'm like extra cautious. And I like even like rented like a I don't know, like a Sprinter van basically. And so
you didn't want to admit that. He hesitated. Did you catch that, Keith?
Yeah. Extra cautious, right? Because you're not driving your vehicle, like, and it's big, and it's just all these other things, and it's just like
some of the tires on those Sprinter vans aren't very good.
Oh, dude, getting out of like where we were
small
staying
for the vehicle.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I have some of the experiences that we did as kids, because like I literally had to drive, like there was no service whatsoever. So like I literally had to like very carefully like throttle it, let off, like, you know, like that kind of thing, because you kind of turn off the traction control because everybody's stuck, they can't get out, but all the weight in the back, right, like over the wheels to try to get it out of there is it's fun.
So snow is no joke.
So what's going on in Buffalo, New York? I just
that's because it's old too. Buffalo
I would have never guessed.
So it was predicted to be the hottest market in 2024, and that prediction held true. So I guess Buffalo has the most new jobs per new homes permitted, and new jobs often mean new residents. So it raises competition, drives up prices, etc. So just a very hot market
going in there, just especially from like
and
thinking about
affordability.
Taxes and all those things. I mean, I know upstate New York is the housing is cheaper, but property taxes, I believe, are still insane there.
Super interesting, and I always love how they come out with this, and then it's nice to look back and see how it plays out. But with rates, with mortgage interest rates right now hovering above 7, what's going to happen to the housing market? Because in my opinion, affordability is just at an all-time low, and something's got to change, either the price of houses or wage growth. I mean, something has to give in order for those new buyers to enter the marketplace. And I feel like we talk about this over and over and over and over. I know.
I feel like we've been beating the dead horse for like 18 months, but it's literally, it hasn't improved like at all. Affordability is literally out the window. If you're in a major metropolitan, the greater metropolitan cities across America, I feel like affordability is saying it's out the window is like an understatement.
Well, all real estate is hyper local, and your market may be under or overperforming, national and other markets. And so we understand that. We get that. Turning to a Reddit post that I found to be super fascinating, because hashtag I'm guilty of this, and I know we probably all are, and you probably are listening as well. But a first-time home buyer took to Reddit and said, thoughts on realtors posting your purchase on social media. I just bought a house and I was looking up my neighborhood on Facebook when I noticed my realtors were posting pictures of their buyers, the homes, and the neighborhoods as a congratulations and to promote/market their business. Sure enough, I saw my congratulations message where you can see my home and a picture of me. I had no idea this happened and was not asked for permission for them to post anything about me. It kind of pissed me off and felt like it was an invasion of privacy. Wow. Am I overreacting? Is this common?
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
It just depends on the person and how, if they're a very private person and they're sitting in front of their house and they have their address right behind them. I mean, someone could figure out where that house is, and
like Chris said, we're doxing them.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if they're like a famous person? Or
I was gonna say, what kind of clout do they have? A job, or maybe they're one of those people that likes to act a little bougier than they are, and then their house lines them up and puts them in a different class. I don't know.
But I think you should definitely ask permission. But if they ask permission to take a photo of them, then
shooting in the dark.
Yeah, if you like, what do you think they're gonna do? Like they put hey, let me take a
frame
photo.
It and put it in their wall.
This is just for my favorites in my phone.
Yeah, let me put this. I mean,
go back and look at it.
I think some buyers actually like it. I think they choose a realtor because that realtor does these sorts of things.
100%.
But here was a comment on the subreddit that I found to be really interesting. So some guy said, my brother bought a house down the street to my parents who were very friendly with them, so they knew each other well. The house got listed publicly because the neighbors didn't know my brother was looking in the area, but he did end up buying it. The realtor did have the house on social media, and some random teenager commented, my cousin was shot and killed in this house.
Talk about putting something on blast, right?
Yes.
And the kid doesn't know any better.
Wild.
Well, it's just social media. You put that on social media, you might get something like that, right?
Yeah, I guess so. You never know
What's
what
that
you're going to
statement?
get.
The truth will always prevail.
Yeah. Well, you brought up a good point. I think when we were talking about this before the podcast, and you said, well, it might be like the person may have like not used a realtor that they knew.
Yes.
Maybe it was like a family member and they used a different realtor, and now there's drama.
Yep.
Trying to avoid it. That could be one reason.
Or maybe the guy was just lying about it. Maybe his cousin wasn't shot and killed. Maybe they were just,
doing a funny.
Yeah. Or what do they call it? I don't know.
What do they call that now? Like,
what's that? Trolling. Yeah, trolling. Just kind of like pissing people off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought.
Well, there's a lot of people.
I've noticed
that's
where my brain went.
There are people that
you thought it was
that's
troll?
all they do is they go on
the
to posts and just say wacky, crazy, stupid things to get people pissed off and try to get people to respond to them.
Well, I guess, hey, maybe if you're taking pictures of your buyers or sellers, you should have something in your documents that explains that you're going to use these for marketing purposes. That might be a good idea.
I know you have to like sign a disclaimer now.
Yeah.
Right. Like you could be on video and
seriously,
I could
though,
use your face on social media.
Yeah. Not a bad idea. All right. Well, we also have some news on the realtor count. It did go down. So we kind of all knew that was going to happen. Well, I know because it's being reported by realestatenews.com that NAR
How are they
membership
accessing that information?
So did they actually
below $1.5 million. Will losses continue?
But NAR stopped publishing that,
They
right?
did stop. They did stop publishing it on their website.
Well, and dips.
So where do
dips
Real
how
Estate
far,
News
dips
get
how
this?
far below?
Don't know.
Right? Like I know that, but that's my whole point. Is like we could be at like 1.1, which would be a crazy dip, or 1.2, which would still be a crazy dip, and there's one dips below 1.5.
I think you can go to every MLS and get the information and just aggregate it yourself.
Gotcha.
Just be
So
like
they
an
all
enormous
500
task.
of them,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
300 of them, whatever
Or
it is. But
association.
Yeah.
And we also know that now NAR is going after the Phoenix Association of Realtors for their MLS choice option. And that is going to be really bizarre. So I saw an email come out from our legal counsel from the Arizona Association of Realtors today, basically giving guidance on like what's happening and what we can expect. But if you're a member of the Phoenix Association of Realtors, like you could potentially be cut off. Maybe. Like, I don't know what's going to happen.
disassociate.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I can't believe NAR is going after them.
Par is going to jump.
Well, they kind of have to, right?
Yeah, I guess so,
This
'cause-
is like their bread and butter. If they don't try to protect it,
Oh, they have to protect.
then then other states will start to follow.
Absolutely.
They'll start
If
going
one
like, hey,
falls,
this is
it
an
is
option,
absolutely
let's
Or
do an option.
associations.
Yeah, other
which
associations
is
will.
worse, right? Like,
Yep.
It would absolutely be the beginning of the end if they don't.
Yeah, so
right?
we'll see. I mean,
I think
this
it's
could be
already started,
the main case that cracks it, because if they lose, then other associations will probably do the same.
Yep. Phoenix has set a trend or two before, so it could be another one now for the MLS.
yeah, for
The demise.
sure. It's going to be really interesting. And of course, we will keep an eye on it and keep you up to date of any major changes. I know that it's the beginning of the year, and so most realtors were charging out of the gates. We have maybe a transaction count in mind. We have maybe a dollar figure in mind of what we want to set out to do this year. Let's give some practical advice to our listeners of what they can be doing to hit their goals and achieve that, even if the year ends up being a little lean.
Well, I'll kick us off, especially since I did my coaching call this week completely on what you just talked about. So I encourage you to go check out that YouTube video, and where we basically created a document around business planning, and it goes a little bit deeper in not just setting goals, but actually what's going to be your action plan around that. So take that on, right? One of those things that in preparing for those, I always like to look up stats. And one of the things I found, kind of a different version of it, but basically is like but there's about 80% of realtors that technically set and have goals, but less than only about 42% of them actually write it down. And you're like 80% more likely to basically reach your goal if you write it down and keep it in front of you, right? So that's going to be just like a simple thing that you can do to keep yourself accountable. But giving you guys an actionable, I would say, again, same broken message, because it's not broken and it works if you do it. Without a doubt, this is a contact sport, as I like to refer to it, and you need to make contact with a lot of people, grow that audience, communicate your value proposition that you're bringing, whether it be to help buy, to help sell, what that looks like, and the uniqueness that you bring to that. Then you put that message on scale consistently. It has to be done.
Okay. Definitely just not sexy, just the truth.
That's what I'm saying. It's not sexy, but last time I checked, lifting weights still works.
Yep. What you got, Keith?
I mean, for me, it's always about mindset, but it's also you have to act as if at the same time, right? If we all have goals, however, if you don't truly believe in those goals and imagine that those goals are real and have looked forward in the future and imagine those goals that they have happened, you can't manifest them. So that's one thing I've been really focusing on the tail end of last year and now through this year is whatever those are, for me, the company and things that I'm going after. I'm really focusing on them. I'm putting a plan and an action in place. What are the daily things that I need to do in order to achieve those? And then do I actually believe this is possible?
It's really good right there. Love it.
And then I fake it till you make it, so to speak. I'm going to make it. I'm going to win. I can do this. And then the compound effect comes into place. And then that day over day, that week over week, the month over month, all of a sudden you fast forward 6 months from now and you can look back and be like, whoa, I'm here. But it takes time.
Yeah.
So
manifest it. I love it.
And then all of a sudden you have manifested the future. So it sounds a little cliche, if you're into those things or not into those things, but that's what I believe. And that's, I think it's real. Right?
Agreed.
You have to manifest your own reality. No one else is going to do it for you.
Exactly. Yeah. Are you going to just be like a circumstance of, fate? Or are you going to be like a driver of your future? What do you got, Jay?
Well, I'll kind of piggyback on that. We used to, when Kayla and I, when Abby was little, we coached her soccer team a few years, and we would do visualization with the team before the game. We'd make all the girls close their eyes and all imagine kicking the ball in the goal, and then how it feels inside. Did you feel excited about it?
Awesome.
Same sort of thing with you, Keith. It's visualization, knowing that, hey, what's gonna feel like when you actually hit your goal and when you make a goal, and that's, I think that does something. We do a lot of meditation and manifesting, and that's definitely a hack is visualization. So I'd say visualize your goals happening on a regular basis, and they will.
Okay, so if I were to pare it down, we've got the belief, which I believe is what Keith and Jason were just talking about, right? You have to believe it and visualize it and see it. And then Elliot's was tangible, writing it down, declaring it, keeping it in front of you. And I totally believe all those things. I don't want to reiterate what you guys have said. I think for me, it's just keeping it simple. I think sometimes we overcomplicate this business. And Elliot has a saying that he says a lot. It's we overcomplicate it to justify what we make. Yep. Something like that. What is it?
We overcomplicate the job to try to justify the commission.
Yeah. And I can remember, when I was brokering and really helping agents, I saw this play out time and time again. Like drama would happen. The first thing the agent would do would be like, go run to that seller or go run to that buyer and like share the drama. And I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, well, it was overcomplicating or wanting them to know that there was drama because then they could know that they resolved it. And so I don't know. I think it's all about just like keeping it simple, keeping your action plan simple. Don't try and do too many things all at once, because guess what? It's kind of like if you set out to have like a major transformation in your life. Like let's say you set out to have like a major weight loss transformation. If you try and go like hot and heavy on every single thing, you will fail. You cannot do it all. And so it's just like pick a few things, be consistent, do it over time. Keep the belief, keep it in front of you, and the results will come. Keith said it best. It's that compound effect. If you've not read that book by Darren Hardy, it's amazing. I think all 4 of us in this room love it. Oh, yeah. But it is so true. Like incremental moves create monumental results. Let's have an amazing 2025, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy New Year.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, make a comment.